Okay, I want to say hi again everybody, it's only me, Wushu Richard, and in today's video the topic is Wushu is not dance. Basically I've found videos online. You can find a lot of videos online, especially on YouTube, where people are still, mocking traditional martial arts. But it's not in necessarily always a mean way, it's literally a just way. They are looking at traditional martial arts from an honest perspective of belief. Some of them are just being logical, trying to use their own logic and rationality, whereas some of them are have just caught on the bandwagon of other people's opinions, and it just become accepted basically by most people that traditional martial arts, by a lot of people, especially fans of MMA and sport fighting in general, that traditional martial arts are just like not realistic. A lot of the time they're showy and they look pretty when performed, but they're not like realistic in terms of real fighting, and they don't have any real fighting application. And I've heard people mock basically Wushu and Kung Fu styles in general. But I've heard it said over and over again, and I've also heard someone who I've always been a massive fan of is Jet Li. Okay, Jet Li, the Chinese martial arts action star, right? But he even also was talking about Wushu as in that kind of style, okay, of like which is you can even see it in the Olympics too. I mean, but he was talking about, whereas Wushu is actually a group name which covers a lot of different Kung Fu styles or Chinese martial arts systems, but it's also like always been more kind of referring to a showy kind of stuff that you see people performing when people perform forms and routines. I myself have done some study, it's even part of my online name, Wushu Richard, and I have done some study in long fist, the long fist style and various styles. Now, given that it is a very acrobatic or very sometimes flowery type, showy style, you've got to remember one thing, okay? I don't believe it's totally true, and I think some of Jet Li's words have also been misinterpreted by people, that even those kind of styles, those Wushu kind of styles, are like nothing more than just a dance, and a performance. Yes, it's true, there's a lot of exaggeration in some of the movements, especially in big forms, and you can find that in karate forms too. Whereas you might argue that karate is more hard combat related in more reality, whereas Wushu is very fluid and acrobatic and very exaggerated and not as practical as, let's say, a Wing Chun or let's say a Krav Maga or something like that. But the thing is, you would not be right to always argue like that, because it's not actually a dance and it should not be related like that. It is actually based on martial arts fighting movements and concepts, and even the moves you can actually use to fight. And I've seen people making videos trying to show applications and stuff, but I'm not going to try and just cherry pick here and stuff. I'm just and pick the flowers that look nice in the garden, so to speak. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that if you look, even for example, take this for an example, right? Let's say long fist and Wushu type styles like that. A lot of these styles are based on or derived from like Shaolin systems anyway, like the Shaolin Temple and the monks and the kind of Kung Fu they train. And if you look at a lot of those forms that they practice, even though some of those monks, a lot of those monks have been known to tour around the world and do flashy, showy demonstrations. But I'm talking about the actual real deal, the Shaolin monks, training for its history. There's a lot of forms that are very closely related, and a lot of those techniques actually were used for real combat fighting, and there are applications of how you can use them and how you would adapt them to real fighting. So I still believe we need to have an open mind when it comes to Wushu. This is not me defending bullshit or what you want to call bullshido. I'm just being real here, okay? You can use your body to fight in many ways, and your mind, and we need to be open-minded. And if you're stronger and more flexible, and and you've got the right movement in the right situation, you can fight in a number of different ways. It's too wrong, I think, to just flush entire systems out and then reject them and say that this is flowery stuff. Whether you've seen performances of shows or whatever, or people doing dance-like movements and getting their ass beat in the ring or whatever, it's not about that. It's about having an open mind. Maybe you're an expert of that parkour, free running, or whatever it might be, but if you've got ability, you can still fight to defend yourself. But given that these styles that derived from like Shaolin systems and stuff in the past anyway, and given that that was used for fighting art, war, not only the weapons, either the bare hand, the way they was actually moving, you know, you can say that the world's developed and people have changed and developed and become more advanced in combat, just and their know-how, if you like. But I believe back in the day when it was grueling, and you got people training that hard and people coming at you with all kinds of bladed weapons and stuff back in the day in the ancient battles and stuff, people were training that stuff to fight. They weren't messing around. There was no room for that. And you can't say that for those thousands or hundreds of years, whatever it was, that people were just bullshitting themselves, all of them, for that many years. There were people that were training this stuff, to keep fit and all the rest of it, but they believed in it. And it doesn't matter what people believe, I know, but it was trained for real fighting. You'd be very right to look into all kinds of traditional martial arts and think about how you would adapt things, how you would use them. Yeah, some things are for exercise, and forget the showy part or the dance and all that. Look at it for a combat art and think about it. And how could you adapt those movements and work them into combat? How would you? How would you move if someone pushed you in the water? Can you swim or whatever? It's unnatural, really. We're not water creatures, but how you would move in reality is one thing, but don't limit yourself, is what I would say. Ignorance is not the way. Don't follow the way of others because someone wants to mock stuff. This is not the way to go. Thanks for watching. Be real.